In this video, I'm going to talk about how dance and movement can be such a powerful way to move energy in our bodies and to really just get back into a frequency of joy and just fun and things like that. So, for those of you here who are new, I'm Orlia. I make videos talking about the importance of really coming back into our bodies and helping people getting out of these high anxiety states and shutdown states using the physical body. So that way you can feel more energized, more engaged with life, and just a lot calmer in your being. So, if that sounds interesting to you, I invite you to click the like button or the subscribe button if this video ends up being something that ends up being very useful for you. So, I know dancing is not a comfortable subject for everybody. I know growing up, I was very hesitant to dance in front of people, and I actually got to the point where I felt afraid to dance even by myself. But it's a really powerful way to move stuck energy that can get stuck in our bodies, you know. And if you kind of get stuck in the, oh, I don't know how to dance or I'm not a great dancer, it's not about performance, it's about just movement. Moving in a way that feels good or in a way that at least feels flowy to you. It's totally normal if there's like some awkward movements in there, but you know, um, if you just start doing just general movements, even if it's not like dancing, like it could just be just something simple as just doing gentle movements that maybe you might correlate with like Tai Chi movements, or um, those of you guys who've watched Avatar The Last Airbender or Avatar Legend of Korra, like moving like one of the elemental benders. Like for me, I really love to move like a water bender. So I love those fluid movements, those Tai Chi, like Qigong like movements. And I really like water as an element. So, one of the ways I invite you to explore movement or dance, if you're just like, yes, like I love dancing kind of thing, is try to do it while you're connecting with an element that you really resonate with. I'll give you an example. For me, I resonate a lot with air and water. Those are like really, like, I really just resonate with those elements. Those are like two of my faves. And so, on windy days or in the shower, I feel this like boost of energy in a way that is just really joyful. And so, what I've started doing is I'll start just doing random movements. Well, they're not really random, it's kind of like a flow. I might have a song in my head that has like some sort of tunage in there. And your body just starts to move on its own when you start to open up to it and you start to like just feel the flow and you just start to feel yourself. And I've noticed that energy is so enhanced for me when I am either dancing in the shower or just doing movements in the shower. And like if I'm walking on a very windy day, like I just feel this burst of energy and I can like start walking more. I might maybe walk with a little shimmy or something like that. And like as I was moving my shoulders, like this, that's moving energy in the shoulders. And it's a very common place for a lot of like stuck energy, a lot of stiff energy that just doesn't get to flow, especially if you have like stiff shoulders, you hunch a lot. I know I'm guilty of being on my phone, so like when you bend your neck forward, your shoulders tend to follow suit when you bend forward, so you may not even feel it or notice it, you know? Um, and I want to talk about another concept called unwinding. It's a um, it's a movement based kind of thing where you just kind of just start doing little movements. It doesn't have to be something huge. Like for me, if my shoulder is stiff, I might start just doing some gentle movements with my arm like this. and letting the body, because the body has its own intelligence, letting the body lead you and how it wants to move, because the body always wants to come back into homeostasis. It always wants to come back into balance. So when it's spending a lot of time in postures or dealing with certain conditions that just make it more difficult to maintain that, where its axis is kind of tilted pretty much as far as like its balance, um, the body has its own intelligence. And when we really tap into that by just doing simple movements and getting to really notice the sensation of them, that is when we are able to kind of connect with the flow of our bodies more. And not only that, but it also brings us into our bodies more, which can be a very calming experience. I know some of you guys, if you have tried to come back into the body, it can kind of feel like you're going through this wave of anxiety first. And it's like it can be more challenging to come back into a calm embodied state because you have to go through that wave of anxiety first. But what happens is if you're able to work through that, is that there's this kind of like settling in into the body and this grounding and this center that you can feel in your body, where your brain's not feeling like it has to go into fight or flight anymore, and it doesn't feel like it has to go and drop to the bottom of the ladder into like a shutdown state. So um if you do end up feeling more anxious about dancing or like movements in general, I invite you to start out small, like just small movements. um Another thing that I used to do too that would help is I loved doing kickboxing, cardio kickboxing movements. So if you prefer to start out with exercise as a way to move your body, because like the brain doesn't look at it as dancing, it doesn't look at it as like this movement practice, it's just exercise, you might start with that. And starting slower, for me anyway, has been better. Like slower movements and really feeling and like noticing the sensations and the speed and just me moving through space. Just moving through space. Um, can be another way that you can ease into moving around. And what I have found is when I start moving and getting into a flow, it really starts to over time create, it's like this joy pocket just unlocks. And then you're just kind of like in this flow and you're just like I'm feeling myself, and the movements start to just kind of take on a thing of its own, and it can be a lot of fun. And I personally believe that healing doesn't have to be this serious thing, it can be fun. And this is one of the ways that we can do that with our bodies and our energy. So, I would love to know in the comments, are you a dancer? Are you a mover? Do you like to, just move to the flow of your own beat? Do you have songs you like to listen to? Do you prefer like more exercise stuff like walking and exercise like cardio kickboxing or strength training? Let me know in the comments how you like to move your body. And I will see you guys in another video.